Welcome to our YouTube channel, Odontology, the study of teeth. Today, we are going to see about mandibular nerve in detail. This is one of your important 10-mark question in your university exam. It is a repeated question also. It can be also asked as 5-mark also. So, please concentrate, okay? Okay, let us see the mandibular nerve in detail. It is a branch of trigeminal nerve. Trigeminal nerve is the fifth cranial nerve, right? It has 3 branches. Among the 3 branches, this mandibular nerve is one of the longest branches of trigeminal nerve. Okay, and moreover, this mandibular nerve is the only nerve which is mixed among the 3 branches of trigeminal nerve. That means it has both sensory activity and motor activity also. First of all, just see what is sensory and motor activity. If what is sensory, let's see first. If you are getting any insect bite or burn in your skin, means skin is a sensory organ, right? So obviously it will send the signals from our skin to the brain. Okay, the signals are sent from our skin to the brain. This process is called sensory process. This sensory process is carried, or the sensory signals has been carried to the brain through nerve fibers called afferent fibers. That means it starts with A, afferent fibers. Okay, once the brain recognizes that we got an ant bite or any insect bite or burn, this brain will send the signal back to the area that you should move your leg or hand, the area which is getting burned or bite. Okay, that the signals from the brain to the corresponding area, that signal is carried out by an efferent nerve fibers, and this process is called as motor activity. So I'm writing efferent fibers E. It starts with E, and this process is called motor fibers. So as I said earlier, the mandibular nerve is having both, sensory process and motor root also. Okay, let's see how it originates, how it comes from the middle cranial fossa in detail. Okay, actually this originates from the middle cranial fossa. Okay, this both, as I said earlier, you have 2 branches like sensory root and a motor root. So these 2 branches arises from the middle cranial fossa. Okay, it has 2 roots, that is, one is a large sensory root and a small root, motor root. Okay, small motor root. These 2 things joins and forms a main trunk once it comes out of the skull. Okay, these 2 things comes out of the skull through foramen called foramen ovale. As the name indicates, it is oval in shape. Okay, foramen ovale. Okay, as soon as it comes out of the foramen ovale, it forms a main trunk. Okay, it forms a main trunk that is 2 to 3 millimeter. It won't get divided. It will follow as a main trunk only. Okay, let's see. Trunk is nothing but let's see, if the tree has the thick before that branch coming, you will have the thick bark area, right? The thick area is called as trunk. In that trunk itself, then only you will get a branches. Okay, that is called trunk. So as soon as coming out from the foramen ovale, it forms a trunk, main trunk, which remains as a trunk for 2 to 3 millimeters. After that only it will get divided into anterior division and a large posterior division. Okay, so what I said earlier, you have 2 roots, that is large sensory root and a small motor root. These 2 things remains in the middle cranial fossa, and before that, this large sensory root this will come on the lateral side of the trigeminal ganglia. What I have written, what I have colored the thick portion, this yellow thick portion is called as trigeminal ganglion. This large sensory root, see, this large sensory root will lies lateral to the trigeminal ganglion, and the small motor root will come in the center portion. Okay, the small motor road will come in the I'm indicating that it will come deep to the sensory root and the trigeminal ganglia. That is what I am written in the center. Okay, I'm drawing it in the center portion. Okay, after that, as I said earlier, it will remain as a main trunk 2 to 3 mm. Okay, once it come out from the foramen ovale. After that, in the main trunk itself, it gives 2 branches. So after that, it gives 2 branches, the main trunk, and after that you will be getting it gives 2 branches, that is one anterior small branch and a large posterior branch. Okay, see, this is your small anterior branch, and this is your this thick portion that entire branch is large posterior trunk or large posterior branch. And after that, let us see each branch in detail. Okay, this trunk portion, the entire trunk portion will give, as I said earlier, it will give 2 branches, right? In these 2 branches, first branch is your meningeal branch. It is also called as nervus spinosus or meningeal branch. Okay, meningeal branch. Why it is named na? Because this branch, this meningeal branch will enter into the nervus spinosum, that is spinosum foramen spinosum, and it will again enter back into the cranial fossa. This is your foramen spinosum, which is near to the foramen ovale. It will enter through the foramen spinosum and reaches the cranial cavity again. Okay, cranial cavity again. And next we have to see the medial pterygoid branch, that is nerve to medial pterygoid. This is your nerve to medial pterygoid, which supplies the medial pterygoid muscle. Okay, along with that, it also supplies tensor tympani, the tensor palatini muscle. Okay, here is your medial pterygoid muscle. This is your tensor palati, and this is your tensor tympani muscle. Okay, the nerve to medial pterygoid supplies medial pterygoid muscle, and the minor branches is also supplies tensor tympani and tensor palatini muscle. Okay, this is when we deal with this medial pterygoid is very important. Okay, next we are going to see about the anterior branch. Before that, this medial let's one more revise it. The main trunk gives 2 branches. One is your meningeal branch. It will enter through the foramen spinosum and reaches the cranial cavity again, and the second one is your nerve to medial pterygoid. Then comes your small anterior branch. Okay, in that first branch is called masseteric branch. Okay, this masseteric branch will supply the masseteric muscles, which is the strongest muscles, which helps in the mastication. Okay, masticatory process. You have that muscle near your ear area. Okay, that biggest muscle which helps in the masticatory process. And second is your deep temporal region. Deep temporal region is nothing but the area which is above your ear and earlobe region. See, this is your skull, right? I'm schematically drawing. Okay, see, you have your ear, right? And above that you have one region, right? This is called temporal region, and this is your frontal and parietal occipital region. Okay, these temporal, if it is above, that is a superficial region. Okay. Below to that you have deep portion, right? That it will supplies the deep temporal areas. This deep temporal branch will supply the deep temporal areas. Okay. And the next branch, okay, the next branch is our nerve to lateral pterygoid. Okay, the main branch supplies your nerve to medial pterygoid, and the anterior, small anterior portion will gives the nerve to lateral pterygoid, which supplies the lateral pterygoid muscle. And next is your buccal nerve. Buccal nerve is also called as buccinator nerve, because it supplies the buccinator muscles. Okay, buccal nerve is also called as buccinator nerve, which supplies the buccinator muscles. Okay. As I said earlier, you have an anterior branch. An anterior branch includes 4 branches, that is masseteric branch, which supplies masseteric muscle, and deep temporal branch, which supplies the deep temporal area, which is the area above the ear and earlobe region. And the third branch is lateral pterygoid, which supplies the lateral pterygoid muscles, and the last one is buccal nerve, which is also called as buccinator nerve, which supplies the buccinator muscle. And we are going to see the posterior, the large posterior trunk we are going to see. Okay, in that the first branch is auriculotemporal branch. Auriculotemporal branch. Okay, in this, the auriculo means ear and earlobe region. Okay, ear and earlobe region. This temporal is, as I said earlier, the region which is above the ear. Okay, so this nerve supplies both ear and temporal region. So ear and temporal region as it supplies, so it is known as auriculotemporal branch. Okay, before getting into divided on the division, I mean that as soon as the posterior division enters, the first nerve, that is auriculotemporal, will start. Okay, and your second is your lingual nerve. Second branch of your posterior trunk is your lingual nerve, that is the lingual nerve which supplies the anterior two-third of the tongue. See, this is your chordotympani nerve, which is a branch of lingual nerve. I mean, I'll explain you later in further classes. This is your submandibular ganglion. I'll explain you chordotympani nerve in detail in your next or further classes. Okay, and this is your tongue. Okay, and this is your anterior two-third of the tongue, the front portion. Okay, the posterior is posterior one-third of the tongue. This anterior one-third is supplied by a nerve called lingual nerve, and your posterior is supplied by a glossopharyngeal nerve. Okay, okay, let's revise it once again. That is, in the posterior tongue you have auriculotemporal, then the lingual nerve which supplies the anterior two-third of the tongue. This auriculotemporal will supplies the ear and temporal region, and the last branch, that is inferior alveolar nerve. Okay, inferior alveolar nerve. Alveolar nerve. This inferior alveolar nerve divides into two. That is one branch which divides into two, that gives a mylohyoid nerve to mylohyoid. Okay, the another one will supplies the incisive and mental areas. Okay, this inferior alveolar nerve will supplies the alveolar sac or alveolar socket, which where the tooth is present. Okay, In posterior extraction and all, in lower posterior extraction and all, you have to give IAMD, that is inferior alveolar nerve block, for the extraction to anesthetize the area. Okay. This is your mylohyoid nerve. Mylohyoid nerve. It will further divides into nerve to mylohyoid, I mean, which supplies the mylohyoid muscle, and the other small terminal branch is supplied to anterior belly of digastric. And the another branch supplies mental, I mean mental region, that is mental branch and incisive branch, which supplies the lower incisors. Okay. So overall, this is your mandibular nerve. Mandibular nerve is a branch of trigeminal nerve, which is a longest one. Okay. Trigeminal nerve is a longest. Third division is very longest, that is your mandibular nerve. It has both action, that is sensory and motor action, and it starts from the middle cranial fossa. It has two roots, large sensory and small motor. Both joints to it will come out through foramen ovale, and joints form a main trunk. This main trunk ascends 2 to 3 mm without any division. This main trunk gives two branches, that is, one is your meningeal branch or nervus spinosus, which enters the and our second branch is your nerve to medial pterygoid, which supplies the medial pterygoid muscle, and the small anterior branch, which has four branches, that is masseteric branch, deep temporal, and lateral pterygoid, which supplies lateral pterygoid muscle, buccal nerve, also called as buccinator nerve, which supplies the buccinator muscle, and the posterior branch, the first one is the auriculotemporal, which supplies the auricle, ear and temporal region, and the another branch is your lingual nerve, which supplies the anterior tutor of the tongue, and other one is inferior alveolar nerve, which divides into two portions, that is one to mylohyoid nerve, that supplies the mylohyoid, and other one is anterior belly of digastric, and the other branch will give incisive branch and mental branch. The incisive branch will supplies the incisors in the lower mandibular. This is how we conclude mandibular nerve. If you have any doubts, please comment below. We'll definitely reply for your doubts. And please comment which topic do you want next in the comment box. If you like the video, please click the like button. Hope you enjoy the video. Please share and subscribe. Thank you for watching.